Yes, in the previous class, in paper 2, the chromatographic study that is started. And you know what is meant by chromatography and what are the types of chromatographic techniques. There you are studied column chromatography, and in the column chromatography, the stationary phase is solid and the mobile phase is liquid. Similarly, paper chromatography, both stationary phase and the mobile phase are liquid state. Third one is thin layer chromatography, ion exchange chromatography, gas liquid chromatography, and gas solid chromatography. These points are discussed in the previous class. Now go for the what are the physical factors of separation. For the separation, the first one is adsorption or retention of the mobile phase substance on the stationary phase. Means the stationary phase is a fixed one. Here, stationary phase is fixed, and over that, the mobile phase is movable. And the mobile phase is nothing but a substance, and the substance is allowed to move over the stationary phase. Second one is the separation of adsorbed substances, means whatever the mobile phase is there which contains the mixture of substances, and those substances are separated individually from the mixed mobile phase. Initially, in the mobile phase, suppose A, B, C, D, these are the components are present in the mobile phase. And when this mobile phase is allowed to move over the stationary phase, what happens? All the A, B, C, D are going to be separated from one another, and retention is going to be taking place. That is the second one. In the third one is recovery of the separated substances by continuous flow of the mobile phase, and this method is called as elution. Suppose on the stationary phase A, B, C, D, they are separated from one another. Then these are to be replaced. These are collected separately, and that process is called as a elution process. And the fourth one is qualitative or quantitative analysis is done by using the eluted substance. These eluted substances are taken, they are subjected for the either qualitative analysis or for the quantitative techniques. These are the some of the physical factors of a separation of the mixed component. Next, consider X is a substance that distributes itself between two immiscible solvents like A and B. Suppose A is a solvent, B is a solvent, both are immiscible, means they can't mix it with one another. And X is a substance, and when this X substance is added to the mixture of A and B, what happens? Part of the X is distributed in A, and a part of the substance X distributed in the B. Then, when it is distributed in two immiscible solvents, then you go for the distribution coefficient Kd, and this distribution coefficient Kd is constant value at a given temperature, and it is given by the expression Kd is equal to concentration of X in a solvent A divided by concentration of X in a solvent B. Means X is distributed in both the solvents, and these solvents are immiscible with one another. Out of A and B, one of the is a stationary phase. You can take solvent A is present in a stationary phase, and solvent B is present in the mobile phase. Then Kd is equal to concentration of X in mobile phase to the concentration of X in the stationary phase. And this ratio is known as a distribution constant, and that was reported by the Nernst, and it is also named as a Nernst distribution law. Now we go for the next point is you go for the paper chromatographic techniques. What is meant by paper chromatographic technique? See here, the paper chromatographic technique is nothing but again it is also a separation of the mixed substances or mixture of substances are to be separated is mainly done by the flow of solvent on a specially designed chromatographic filter paper. Here, the specially designed filter paper is taken and the substances are to be separated, and it is done by using the specially designed chromatographic filter paper. The stationary phase is the water present in the cellulose of the filter paper, and the mobile phase is a organic solvent which is immiscible with the stationary phase. Means the stationary phase is here the water and present in the water is present in the cellulose. This is used as a stationary phase, and the organic solvent which is used as a mobile phase. Clear? Then what is the principle behind the paper chromatography? What is the principle behind the chromatography, paper chromatography? In this technique, the substance distributed between two liquids. One is a stationary liquid is there, another one is mobile phase, that is also taken a liquid phase. And in this technique, substance is distributed between two liquids. One is a stationary liquid, another one is mobile liquid. Both are immiscible with one another. The component of the mixture to be separated is migrated at different rates. Means components of the substance that is to be separated. A, B, C, D, E. These are the components present in the mixture, and these are to be separated. And when they are allowed to pass over the stationary phase, then depending upon the rate of migration of A, B, C, D, E, these are going to be separated from one another depending upon the different rates and appears as a spot over the specially designed filter paper. Suppose this is a specially designed filter paper is there. Here stationary phase is there. A, B, C, D, E. This is mobile phase, and this mobile phase is allowed to pass over the stationary phase depending upon the rates of flow. All these are enters in the stationary phase, and they form different types of spots over the that is the stationary phase. Suppose it's A, B, C, D, E, like that. They appears in the form of spots at different points on the filter paper, and this type of separation is achieved by differential migration of the components. And here lower the value of partition coefficient, the more of the component will pass over the into mobile phase and move at the higher speed. Based on this principle, the components are separated from one another. Tomorrow we will proceed the actual technique in the paper chromatography and how the components are separated from one another, and there you have to study the RF value also. Okay, we'll stop here only. Tomorrow I will proceed the next part of this chapter. Thank you.